terrifying concept that is currently our reality. Right now, the Republican Party's presidential frontrunner, a twice impeached, twice indicted, liable for sexual abuse former president, is openly running a campaign on autocracy. The Times writes that Trump and his associates have a broader goal: to alter the balance of power by increasing the president's authority over every part of the federal government that now operates. But what Donald Trump is vowing to do is to take that to the next level. With the help of conservative billionaires, he's essentially running for office on the idea of turning the presidency into a dictatorship, which very well means that the 2024 presidential election may determine whether or not the United States of America remains a democracy.
A dictator for a day.
Donald Trump has joked about suggestions he'd become a dictator if he wins the next election.
The Republican Party's slow march into autocracy, led by the one-day-only dictator wannabe, Donald Trump.
And on the 8th day, God looked down on his planned paradise and said, I need a man to test the will and goodness of a free people. So God made a dictator. God said, I need a corrupt man who is above the law and immune from justice. So God made a dictator.
Donald Trump reacting to reports about what a second term would look like and concerns that he would govern as an authoritarian. Donald Trump is no longer merely suggesting he'll be a dictator should he win a second term. Now, he's just coming right out and he's saying, watch.
Under no circumstances, you are promising America tonight, you would never abuse power as retribution against anybody.
Except for day one. He says, you're not going to be a dictator, are you? I said, no, other than day one.
If any other politician in American history were asked the question, are you going to be a dictator? No. Donald Trump never answered it. He never answered it.
God said, I need a man who will use violence to seize power. So God made a dictator. God said, I need a man whose followers will call black white, call evil good, and call criminals hostages. So God made a dictator.
I want to be a dictator. I want to be a dictator for one day. And you know why I wanted to be a dictator? Because I want a wall, right? I want a wall, and I want to drill.
What a stupid thing to say. Drill. What a stupid thing to say. You can tell he doesn't even read the newspapers. U.S. oil production.
Yep.
Record highs. There's a sickness. There is a sickness among, unfortunately, some of our fellow Americans regarding authoritarianism and totalitarianism. They want it.
They also could be victims of a cult-like personality. It's not good for America.
There's a personality cult. It's very bad for America. And make no mistake of it, a large chunk of those people in that audience cheering when Donald Trump said, I'll be a dictator on day one, well, they want that.
God said, I need his political party to obey without question, and the press fear his wrath. So God made a dictator. God said, I need a cruel man who uses his power and position to punish and harm his opposition. So God made a dictator.
I will be a dictator for one day. We're going to close up the border, and we're going to drill, baby, drill. And after that, I will never be a dictator, okay?
Other than day one, which is another way of saying, yep.
I will be a dictator. I will be a dictator. So remember the words. Those are the words. I will be a dictator for one day. I will be a dictator for one day. I will be a dictator for one day. And after that, I won't be a dictator ever again.
What is unbelievable is that Trump, who's not exactly known for his restraint or his self-discipline, would actually stop after day one.
I'm going to be a dictator. I'm going to be a dictator for one day. Trump is a dictator. He wants to be a dictator. You're not going to be a dictator, are you? Tell me. I said, I'm going to be a dictator for one day. After that, I'm not going to be a dictator. After that, I'm not going to be a dictator.
Right. He'll only be a dictator on day one, as opposed to the rest of the time where there's no tater, just dick.
God said, I need a man who breaks the faith of even his most godly followers and leads them to idolatry. Place him above me. So God made a dictator. And then God said, I sent this man to test you, and until you cast him down, you have failed. So God made a dictator.
I only want to be a dictator for one day.
Just so you know, that is how it starts. Ignoring the Bill of Rights, tearing up the Constitution, pining for a brief stint as a dictator. Well, that settles it. When the good, patriotic, Constitution-loving, real Americans hear Trump's disrespect and disdain for our sacred constitutional principles, they will be outraged.
I'd rather have Donald Trump as a dictator for 4 years. Absolutely.
This country needs a dictator. I hate to say that, but it's the truth.
He could stand on the front steps of the White House and commit murder, and I'm with him.
If he says it, then I'll go with it. And if he wants to be a dictator, then so be it.
That is monarchy shit. And it's your right to support it. But just do me a favor for historical accuracy. Next time you want to dress up at the rallies, wear the right colored coats. That's what you are.
He may talk like an idiot and look like an idiot, but don't let that fool you. He really is an idiot.
So how do we stop this?